What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to an episode of the Always Compete Seahawks podcast. I am Sam. That is Mike. Today, we'll be breaking down the newest signing for the Seahawks. The first signing in what seems, not even what it seems, it's been like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It's been a very long time. Geno Smith has returned to the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
The reports are saying it's a 1-year deal with a base value of $3.5 million that can go up to $7 million with incentives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was a pretty much expected move. This was a move that Pete Carroll had talked about, was essentially confirmed. He was talking about how, like 2 weeks ago, he was talking about how Drew Luck, Jacob Eason, and Geno Smith were going to compete for the starting job.
Which is so encouraging. But
while he wasn't on the team. But, you know, that's...
we all kind of knew Geno was going to re-sign and for relatively cheap because he has more value to the Seahawks than he has for any other team. It's not like a journeyman guy like maybe like an Andy Dalton or something where he could maybe legit start games. Geno is going to be the clipboard guy again. You know, he knows the offense. It makes sense to keep him in Seattle, help Drew Luck.
I think this makes him the favorite to start.
You think so?
I don't know about you. I think this makes him by far the favorite to start. Geno, this was about like 2 months ago, pretty much after the season ended, and I was going back, kind of looking around. And I was like, dude, Geno, I don't know why, but in my memory, I remember Geno Smith sucking really badly. I don't know why that was the memory that I had, but I remember him like playing really bad.
Well,
and I'm like, dude,
he did fumble.
I need Russ to come back so quickly. Like, that's what I was thinking. I go back and I look at his stats. Just about 700 passing yards in 3 games, 700 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception with about a 62% completion percentage.
The best thing Geno Smith did was feed DK. He did that very well.
And honestly, he did that much better than Russ, I think, ever did.
Yeah.
Which is kind of whack to say. But.
So he started, correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but he started 3 games, beat the Jaguars on Halloween. I remember that. Played 4, obviously played at the end of the Rams game. Beat the Jags, obviously, and then very narrow losses to the Saints and the Steelers, which if we have Russell Wilson, I think those are games we win. So I think as Seahawks fans, we were looking at it like, oh man, if we had Russ in this game.
I mean,
he fumbled, I believe at the end of the Steelers game, he fumbled.
Yeah, right? But that's, I mean, he was sacked like 6 times.
TJ Watt. Yeah, it's TJ Watt.
It's TJ Watt. You know, it's kind of tough to argue against. I mean, as it goes for those games that he played in, that Steelers game was close. He fed DK the ball. It went to overtime and almost tied. Like, it got down there. So, you know, that was a game.
And the Saints game was really sloppy weather. I remember it was
and the Saints game was essentially pouring rain. And I think Jason Myers missed 2 field goals.
I think he did too. And I still
remember like a field goal and a PAT or whatever.
The 85-yarder was it to DK? That was really nice play. Like, those are the type of plays where it's just DK versus Lattimore, and you just got to throw it up to DK. And Geno did that because Geno,
and when DK mossed Shaquille Griffin for a touchdown.
Twice.
I mean,
he did twice. I know one.
No, I think just the one in the end zone is the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
that's the only time I've ever seen DK get a throw like that.
Yeah, Russ doesn't really throw like just jump. He throws moon balls, he throws it long and he runs under it. He doesn't really throw jump balls.
I was texting in the Seahawks group chat on Twitter.
Yeah.
STE.
Shout him out,
by the way. I said my 4 biggest critiques with Russ throughout his entire time with the Seahawks. I'm always gonna be a Russ fan. I'm not a Russ hater now.
We love you,
I've
Russ.
always had these critiques. Holds on for the ball too long.
Absolutely.
Afraid to throw the ball over the middle. Just kind of a fact when you look at it.
You look at his spray chart, he's a sideline and deep ball guy.
Never treated DK like a true number 1 receiver.
He treated him like a Tyreek Hill. He didn't treat him like he treated him like a guy you could just throw a long bomb to, which you can. But you got to take advantage of his 6'4" muscular frame and just throw him a jump ball here and there, you know?
Yeah. Yes. I couldn't remember the 4. I couldn't remember the 4th one actually, but like those 3 alone, like the 3rd one for me is especially interesting when we're talking about do we pay DK all this money? It might make sense if you have a quarterback that is going to start treating him like a number 1 receiver.
The 4th one would probably be not taking checkdowns. He wasn't the best at taking checkdowns all the time.
Yeah,
he would just try to bomb it.
That's a good one. I can probably go back and find it, but I'm not really going to do that right now.
But again, I mean, still a great quarterback. But those are things that
and frankly, Geno did, I think, at least one of those pretty well. He gave DK his chances. He gave DK his opportunities.
He did.
He knows this offense.
Yeah.
I think that his mobility is pleasing.
He's definitely a plus athlete. I'm not going to say he's a
plus athlete.
He's a plus athlete. Yeah.
He's been in the offense, has that connection, that rapport with the receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, he can teach Drew Lock the offense. And he'll be another great backup for his 4th straight year.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I think you said a couple minutes ago that you think Geno's the favorite to start right now. And while I don't know if I would agree with that, what I would say is I think it's his job to lose right now. I think right now he's
that's what I mean.
Drew Lock needs
Drew Lock, I think, beats him out in talent, obviously.
I think by week 1, Drew Lock is the starting quarterback. But I think that as of today, pre-draft, before Drew Lock knows the playbook, before he gets acclimated with the guys, all that, Geno's the guy. So he could either run with it and be our starter for however long, because I think bare minimum at some point this year, Drew Lock is going to be the starter. They're going to give him the keys. They're going to let him go.
Yeah, hell, I wouldn't. By the way, don't be shocked if Jacob Eason gets a start somewhere in there. Do not be shocked. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to be shocked, but
it's going to be a stressful day when in week 11 we're 1-9 and Pete Carroll announces that Jacob Eason is getting the go.
Bro, he's gonna. You already know Jacob Eason is going to start in the game that Denver comes to town, and then Russ is just going to thrash us. But anyway.
I don't know, Mike. Have you seen our 2 deep safeties? I don't know. That's another great critique.
Oh, that was couldn't be cover 2. Yeah,
he could not be cover 2.
Which is just so funny to me. I don't know how you can't be cover 2. Like cover 2.
Well, once again, because when you're a sideline to sideline quarterback, and both of the safeties drop, to both sidelines, and you
Russell Wilson
deep ball.
Is the best go route thrower in the NFL.
Oh no, I remember my 4th critique.
What?
Like once every 3 games where we'd be losing, he would make a play to seem like a god, and it would really backfire on him. Like really bad.
I know what you're talking about.
For instance, Rams game when he had a wide open lane. This was 2 years ago. Had a wide open lane. Decides to take a pass in the back corner of the end zone to no one else but Will Dissly. And Darius Williams gets maybe the easiest interception of his entire career, just hopping up in front of it.
Do you remember, and we won this game, but do you remember against the Cardinals when we were, not this past season, but the year before, we were driving down the field, and he, pitched it to Micah Hyde, and he, messed up the pitch, and then they almost got the ball? Oh, my God, that almost ruined it. There's a lot of, late interceptions, late fumbles, bad sacks.
Don't get me wrong. Most of the time, he'll hit those.
Yeah.
But he'll mess them up every once in a while, and that's really, really, really frustrating to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this is a great signing. It's no harm at all.
No.
I don't think – I like what Geno could bring. Last year, he played fine.
I was never
I think this team is – I think this team's looking for a game manager.
I really think so, too, and that upsets me, but also I understand it, okay.
At least
you have
for this year. At least for this year, they're looking for a game manager. Next year, if we want to get Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or whatever goddamn kid comes out of the draft that has a Zach Wilson type year, then
or a Joe Burrow, nothing, 5,000 yards, 55 touchdowns. Yeah. But no, I think a game manager's fine, but I just think you got to be aggressive. You got to go up, especially in our division. You got to be aggressive. You can't be winning games with the game manager unless you're the 49ers, who have been held back by their game manager quarterback. So.
Well, Mike, I'm sorry, but you're kind of talking like you're expecting us to contend this year.
I am sorry if I'm I'm just hopeful romantic, but I think the plan should be, if you want to get Drew Lock in.
Yeah, I've thrown out all hope of that happening. By the way,
no, I think this is.
It's not even a thought in my mind. I've essentially guaranteed that we're going to have the first overall pick next year.
No, we're not going to be that bad. Listen, I've been a Seahawks fan.
Want to be that bad though?
Okay, here's another thing I'll say. I would rather be 0-17 than 7-10 or 6-11.
Yes, because then you get a mid pick.
This is, and I'm so worried because I think we're going to be good enough or better than these teams that are picking 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're not going to be good enough to make a playoff.
Do you think we're better than the Jags?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're better than the Jags, the Lions, the Texans,
the Jets.
Depends on who they pick at 10 though. If they pick a stud at 10,
After that, I mean,
I think you can make an argument that we're a bottom 6, 7 team in the league.
5 team, maybe. I mean, no, Atlanta's worse than us.
Yeah.
Atlanta's worse than us.
I'd say we're probably the 6th or 7th worst team in the NFL right now, assuming Geno and Drew Lock play the way that they play in the past. Now, if Drew or Geno, they ball, then we ball, obviously. Or we go, 8 and 9, miss the playoffs. But I think if you're gonna roll with Geno as quarterback, then I think you're kind of punting the year, if I'm being honest.
Drew Lock definitely has the upside.
Drew Lock has the upside. Geno is just like, all right, we're gonna not, turn the ball over 500 times, whatever. Which is that the worst idea in the world? I don't know, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what we're doing at quarterback, but would not be. I would put my money on Drew Lock taking the most snaps at quarterback next year. That would be where I put my money at, to be honest.
That's not crazy to say, but there was some other quarterback news that hit the Seahawks recently.
Yes.
And I don't think we're going to spend a whole lot of time on this because after today's news, it's kind of irrelevant. But,
yeah, it's not going to go down.
But Baker Mayfield said that he thought that the Seahawks were the most likely destination for him. And this is not with any, this is not him saying that he prefers to go to the Seahawks or that he knows that the Seahawks are interested in him and that's what is most likely. He said, based on roster, he thinks that's what's most likely for him. No. I'm really not interested in trading for a guy who is going to be $18 million and giving up a third for a team that's probably going to be 6-11.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I mean, I didn't want to do it in the first place. I'm sure as hell I'm not going to do it now.
The only argument for Baker Mayfield right now is that he would be cheap. I think he's going to be really cheap just because the Browns, they just got Deshaun, they signed Jacoby Brissett, and they signed Josh. They have 3 quarterbacks. So really, they don't need Baker at all. And with his contract, he's going to be really cheap. So maybe some people are like, oh, what does it hurt to throw a 7th for Baker?
I saw this. Would you rather trade for – so assume that both players require a third to get.
Okay.
Jimmy G or Baker?
Baker. No, I don't know. I
think Jimmy G. I feel like for a game manager who's gonna just be fine and be average to slightly above average, I think you probably want Jimmy G.
I think Baker definitely has more upside
because Baker could be a friggin' maniac with that football sometimes, and in a bad way.
Baker in 2020 was legitimately pretty good. He was like a solid. People made the argument top 10. I didn't make the argument. You can make the argument top 10. And then in 2019 and 2021, obviously he was awful. He's been hurt. He's expensive. Yeah, I might have to go Jimmy, honestly, especially with what we're going to do, especially with the, pound the rock game that we're going with. He's really good at handoffs. I think Jimmy's probably the best handoff quarterback in the NFL. Him and Ryan Tannehill, they're competing for that top spot. So,
yeah.
Maybe.
By the way, before we kind of finish this episode off, this preseason can be so fun to watch for the Seahawks because we're going to have a live quarterback competition happening in the preseason.
We haven't had that since 2012.
That's going to be so fun to watch.
That is really fun to watch. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome because in sports, there's really nothing else like it. In baseball, you're not going to have 2 guys fighting for the ace of the lineup because I would argue that the ace is probably the most prestigious title in baseball as it is for quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. 100%.
So, that just doesn't happen. In football,
maybe the only thing in baseball would be a closer. Some teams have closer battles.
I guess, but even if closers don't affect every single game of the year, unlike football, so it's gonna be fun to watch. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Oh yeah, who do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think is gonna win this job? Who do you want to win the job? Who do you think is the most likely? I mean, man. This is going to be a miserable season. But we're going to stick around for it because hopefully by the time we're recording this podcast next year, we're mocking CJ Stroud or Bryce Young to the Seahawks.
Yeah. Honestly, or we've traded somehow for, Justin Herbert or something like that.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is a Seahawk and we just went 17-0 and we're just hey,
Yeah. Or tomorrow, the day after we record this, you know what I mean? Tom Brady decides to get traded to the Seahawks. I don't know.
Yeah,
we have
something
no
like
idea.
that. Just some, well,
Not Aaron
maybe
Rodgers,
Russ waives trade clause now. I don't know.
Yeah,
Can you do that? But
but he can do whatever he
anyways,
wants.
that's gonna wrap it up. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.